Greetings, fellow pipe smokers. Welcome to another pipe talk. Smoking a Redford's Scottish blend in this Putzschucker Paris or Paris pipe. Well, I've been asked in the past, where do I get all my pipe knowledge from? And at first I have to say, I don't know everything about pipes. I can't make this claim. For example, I don't know much about the Danish freehand artisans that are around. I don't know much about British pipe making, all the Dunhill nomenclature, and all the brands there. I just get a first impression of all the Peterson lines that are in existence and have been. But yeah, where to get the information from? Of course, there's the internet. You have Pipedia, you have Pipeville. Especially at Pipedia, you'll find lots and lots of information. There are many English language online forums where you can search for specific pipes and makers or smoking techniques, tobaccos. Unfortunately, many forums have disappeared during the last years, especially the German language ones. There have been much more websites as well. And this does not only affect pipe and tobacco related websites. I just noticed that more and more websites and discussion groups, etc., do disappear in the last couple of times. It's always a good idea to go out to your local tobacconist if you have the chance, talk to pipe makers, pipe fairs, pipe shows. But of course, the good old book, the written word, is always a source for information, especially if you're looking for older information and you can compare how views, opinions, information has changed over the last years since the internet came up. And I would like to show you a few books that I have as a resource. This one here is just called Pipes. It's by Rolf Joachim Rutzen. I think it was published in '99. And this gentleman really visited the most important pipe makers of Europe back then. He was there, talked to everyone, those he couldn't visit. He wrote letters to, he talked to them via telephone. Also, some US pipe makers I mentioned, although in not that much detail. And one Japanese pipe maker. Unfortunately, no Eastern European pipe makers. But every pipe maker is covered in a few pages with typical pipes, artisan pipe makers, pipe factories. It's always a great book as a resource, and you always find some information that isn't covered on the internet and has been somehow forgotten. Another book I have in German language is this one, the Pipe Tobacco Brevier. And this book has been several times in reprint. Surprisingly, it says 500 tobacco blends being tested, information and tips for pipe smokers, actualized and expanded edition. Well, the funny thing is they haven't tested any tobacco. They just took the text that tobacco industry provided. So it reads like a huge advertisement. And I know this book is still highly sought after by some, and everyone that had this book was very disappointed. From nowadays, it's interesting to see how many blends have been in Germany alone at the time. And there were many how many have gone, how many have reappeared, and also how the description has changed over time, even if it's just advertising texts. There's also a chapter about how to treat your pipe, how to smoke a pipe, which is also very, very dated by now. This one here is a classic by Richard Carlton Hacker, The Great Handbook of Pipe Smoking. I am not sure at the moment how the English original title is. This one here is an expanded version that has a colored picture part. And I did read a review about this book where someone says this book isn't about pipes or tobacco, it's about how great Richard Carlton Hacker is. And yeah, there's a chapter about pipe makers, which isn't up to date anymore, and although some information is wrong there, but you have to consider this was written pre-internet period. There's a chapter about tobacco, a little about pairing it with whiskey and wine, and a lot of anecdotes by Mr. Hacker, and he's a very entertaining guy. This book is a very easy read, although it doesn't get that much into details. But still, it's very entertaining. I'd say this one here is a classic, The Pipe Book by none other than Alfred Dunhill himself. He had a huge collection, the Dunhill collection, of every pipe imaginable. And this book is really about the hardware, how the pipe was invented, and how the pipe has changed during its travel through the centuries, through the world. Every people, native people, modern people, from around the globe, and the pipes. Why and how. Also with illustration. And I wonder what has happened to the Dunhill collection. Maybe some of you has a clue where it is now, if one can visit it. A classic. This one here, again in German language, Die Pfeifenmacher, which means the pipe makers, by a pipe maker himself, by Otto Pollner. After the fall of communism, the borders were opened up to Eastern Europe. He traveled to Eastern Germany and tried to find information what has happened to the pipe industry in the region, German region of Thuringia, where lots and lots of German pipe makers were located. And it's a lot about history, lots of photos from old pipes, lots of catalog pages from back then, and also system pipes, health pipes that have been invented, advertisements, clay pipes, meerschaum pipes, assembled pipes, hunters pipes, Tyrolean pipes as you might know them, even if they came in this case from Germany. Very, very interesting book. I have featured this book in 2 other videos already. Yeah, not only books are a good source for information, also old catalogs. For example, I'm still proud to possess 2 old Dan pipe catalogs. Those came in pairs. One was for pipes, one was for cigars. Here's the 2019 edition. And I still use these catalogs when people are talking about blends. I try to find if the blend was sold there at Dunpipe in Germany and what they had to write about it, just to give you an impression. It's absolutely amazing how many tobaccos they had and still have in Germany. And yes, I am jealous of them. Also the pipes. And every year I waited to order something there to get my free catalog. Unfortunately, they quit the production of this catalog, and just a few years later, the sales department of that company, they had a store that you could visit, closed down. They are still producing tobacco, but they are not selling it anymore, and they don't offer pipes anymore, which is really a pity. Here is something from another country. It's the Sphère magazine. It's from France. Although this is an older edition, unfortunately it's in French language, so I can only estimate what the topics are about. I guess everyone in the pipe world knows this gentleman, Mr. Mimo. Lots of interesting articles about tobacco, about pipe making, interviews. I don't know how often this magazine is published, but I think it is still around. They still have an active pipe scene in Paris. And I think they have a pipe club that is centered around the Pipe du Nord pipe shop. I think they also have a YouTube channel, although I don't know if this is still updated. It's run by a nice young lady that is really dedicated to the topic of pipes. And yeah, these are some of the sources where I still do get my information from. I just recommend, if you're into the pipe hobby, keep everything you get in that way, advertisements, whatever, and make a collection of this as well. In a few years from now, this can be very valuable information. And in a future video, I will show you all the other advertisement sheets, smaller catalogs, etc. what I got from other pipe makers. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Cheers.